Cold War Zombies DLC 1 is right around the corner, so what better way to prepare for Firebase Z than going over everything you need to know for when this map drops. There is a lot of information to get through in this video, and I guarantee there's some bits you won't know about, so it is worth watching this video all the way through to the end. And if, like me, you're super excited for this map to drop, let me know in the comments and drop this video a like rating. And if you want to make sure you miss nothing on Firebase Z when it drops, be sure to subscribe to the channel. But jumping straight into things, let's talk about the storyline very briefly. Where are we after Maschine? Well, following on from the events of that, Requiem's next mission brings them deep into the jungles of Vietnam. Under the direction of Grigori Weaver, the team must uncover the secrets of Outpost 25 and face the threat that lives within to save Samantha Maxis. Unlike Maschine, we won't be commanded by Weaver. Instead, we'll be commanded by a new character called Captain Ravenov that we see in the trailer. Judging from his biography released by Treyarch, he did work for Omega Group, but that was 1.5 years prior to this map, so it's hard to tell where his intentions truly lie, as he is commanding our group to help save Samantha, but the end of the trailer seems like there is some betrayal between him and Weaver over Samantha. Jumping into the map itself, we know the layout is split into two separate portions, the first area being a village and then the next being the actual outpost. Starting with the village portion first, we can actually play in this area right now in Cold War, as this area is reused from a campaign mission called Fractured Jaw. As you can see, it is pretty much one-to-one exactly what we're going to see in Firebase Z. This courtyard's identical, the tree, the building placements, everything is the same. And that's not a bad thing by any means. This area looks beautiful, and I'm so happy that this is going to have a zombified makeover. Analyzing this area closer, you can see the exact house that Samantha was crawling on, as well as the teleporter area that will take us to the outpost. In one frame, you can see the quick revive machine behind one of the operators, which doesn't necessarily confirm that this is the spawn area of the map, but if we base this perk location of Maschine, then it's probably quite close. Jumping through the teleporter takes us to the main Outpost 25 itself, but with quick revive in the village, it shows that we'll be jumping between locations. Now, Outpost 25 itself is actually a remake of Array from Black Ops 1 and Blackout. You might not have noticed it at first, but the distinctive satellite dish as well as the facility buildings with numbers on them match Array pretty much perfectly, but this is heavily expanded and altered in some areas that you'll see very soon. Straight away, you'll notice the Tombstone Soda perk machine location chilling here. So judging the teleporter takes you straight to this camera angle of the map, you'll be able to access the perk pretty quickly. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Tombstone Soda and how the perk works, let me fill you in. When you buy this perk, if you go down, you will transform into a shadow within the dark ether, and in this form, you'll be equipped with weapons to help give you a fighting chance to revive yourself. However, if your health is reduced to 0 while in shadow form, then you're dead. That's only the perk in its base form. If you upgrade it using the Ethereum crystals, you can unlock different tier upgrades for it. Tier 1, regenerating your shadow's health. Tier 2, increasing the down duration to 60 seconds. And Tier 3, death, you'll drop a tombstone stash that saves your weapons, equipment, and resources. If you're a long-time fan of Call of Duty Zombies, you'll know that Tombstone Soda is pretty much a combination of the original Tombstone and Who's Who from Die Right. As our characters make their way to a seemingly dead-end part of the map, you can see an AUG wall buy, and then we're confronted by the new zombie boss. And this boss is quite possibly one of the coolest bosses ever seen in Zombies, because what you don't learn from the trailer is what this boss can do. Backgrounds of this monster is it was recovered from the dark ether and put in a cage to be experimented on. It shapeshifted multiple times into common objects, these being a crate, an equipment storage container, a chair, a rifle, and even an Ethereum containment canister. This thing can take on the form of whatever it wants, which will completely change the gameplay experience in Cold War into this horror-style prop hunt gameplay mechanic where any objects in the map could suddenly transform into this monster, which I think is absolutely incredible, but also horrifying for the players. I'd love to know what you think of this mechanic in the comments below. Now, powering this map looks to be different to Maschine, but have a similar concept. In the trailer, we see an ether reactor room, and as the player kills zombies, we see their souls convert into energy. And you can tell it's a power room as the room is in darkness, similar to Maschine's power room before it's activated, with the flashlights on the player's weapons. And once the required souls are met, you can see that there's a burst of energy from this that reacts to the dark ether crystal, sending a surge of energy that opens up two doors seen in the bottom left and right, which gives us access to the final playable area of the map. We can back this up by looking at the destroyed wall in the ether room, matching it with the backside of this facility where you can see the same shaped hole. This final area is pretty much trench warfare, with sentry turrets on either side. Now, it wouldn't be a zombies map without an amazing wonder weapon. The trailer doesn't say too much about this weapon, but we now know this this wonder weapon is called the Ray-K-84. You heard me correctly, a ray gun meets an AK-47 and you get the Ray-K-84. Created by Omega Group, the Ray-K-84 has two firing modes. We see in the trailer it shoots a ranged projectile, which looks to be a charged shot. Then we see the operator change the firing mode to fully automatic, and it's only when shooting the projectile with the automatic ammo that it creates a large area of effect explosion, disintegrating and blowing back the zombies. So a fairly similar concept to the ray gun Mark III from Grigori. Now what we've seen so far is only the normal variant of the Ray-K and not any upgrades, and looking at the blueprint, one part of the weapon is called the element converter. So we could expect a similar sort of upgrade tree of elemental upgrades, just like we saw with the wonder weapon in D Maschine. And if rumors circulating about the wonder weapon are correct, then it will use the same 4 elemental powers seen in D Maschine, which were fire, ice, electricity, and nova gas. Only time will tell what Treyarch have up their sleeves with this wonder weapon, but we could expect an upgrade at least. And if D Maschine is anything to go by, there will be an alternative way to get our hands on this weapon besides just out of the box. And on the topic of Grigori, we have a returning enemy, the Russian Mangler Soldier. If you aren't familiar with the Mangler, let me fill you in. Spawns in window barriers as if it was a normal zombie, and it will follow the closest player in a robotic shuffle fashion. When close enough, the Mangler will swipe his sickle, and when out of reach, will fire its shockwave cannon. Once it's taken a certain amount of damage, the Mangler will start to sprint for the player and uses attacks more often and erratically. And the best way to take this guy out is to shoot off his helmet, revealing the weak spot, which is its head. It's worth noting as well in the trailer, we see a few mystery box locations, but they're only in the outpost area of the map, never in the village. Looking back at the Ray-K-84 clip, you can see the dark ether arrows leading us to power, which includes a staircase leading us into the ether reactor room we looked at earlier. A huge new addition to Cold War Zombies transport is the Wonder Sphere returning into this map. This is a launch pad that launches you across the skies, through the broken satellite, and into another part of the map very quickly. If you look really closely at the first few frames of us entering Outpost 25 in the trailer, you can see the location of where the Wonder Sphere is that's taken in this clip. And we don't know if there's more than just one of these in the map, but if we're going off Horizon Drac, there was at least 2 in that map. And if this is taking us from the beginning of this outpost area all the way through to this trench area, you could expect there to be another one to take you back to the village. And what's easily one of the craziest shots in this trailer is seeing the Elder God at the end. Now this is the monster we first saw in D Maschine that roams outside the map from round 40 onwards. Capable of knocking down trees and anything else in its path, there's a chance that this could destroy parts of the map dynamically as the game progresses, or there's something specific that triggers it entering the map. But seeing as it's focused in this trailer, it must play a very important role in this map, unlike in D Maschine. Judging from how the entire outpost is almost protected by this purple dark ether bubble, my money is on the beam of light coming out of the god is what bounces onto the satellite, which then travels around this bubble and potentially disables it. But that's purely speculation. Now, one other thing to point out is that during certain frames in this trailer, you can also notice this strange machinery. One example being in the final frames with the Elder God, and then when we see the trench area, there is a machine backed up against the back of the facility, which doesn't look like a perk machine to me. Only time will tell what this is, but if you've got any ideas, please let me know in the comments section. Now, out of the characters involved, we know that Samantha Maxis and Ravenov are very important, but one character we've yet to see is Dr. William Peck. From the teasers Treyarch has released prior to this map's launch, we know that he is an evil character, who is the main reason for all of the terrible things that we see in this map. But they've also teased areas of the map that we have not seen yet as playable areas, such as Dr. Peck's personal quarters, as well as the radio room that Ravenov is talking to us from, the scientist quarters, and other areas around the ether reactor room that also house dark ether crystals. I'm incredibly excited to see how this map plays out with the storyline of Samantha and the twists and turns that come with facing the threat that lives within to save her. I'm just so ready for new zombies. I'm really excited for it. Let me know if you guys are too in the comment section. If you found this video informative, please go ahead and leave a like rating, subscribe so you don't miss out on Firebase Z when it drops. And to keep up to date with everything zombies, be sure to stay tuned to the channel. If you want to watch another one of my videos, it's on your screen right now. Just click it and I'll be there in just a few moments.